The ex-police sergeant, 57-year-old Colin Bailey, at a media briefing on Monday at the Hughes, Field and Stobie Law Office in Georgetown, said he intends to sue the state.
My life was totally devastated. I would like to say that I think the system, according to what the judge said, should really be looked at. And what I went through, which I'll perhaps see more after now, I'm not going to allow this to just go by. There are other people in there who have suffered the very fate that I've suffered and still in there.
Bailey was freed on October 13, 2021, after the state failed to present witnesses to pin him to the crime. He was represented by attorneys Nigel Hughes, Conyo Sandiford, and Ronald Daniels. Justice Joanne Barlow, in making her decision at the Demerara High Court, where Bailey was on trial for the capital offence of murder, said that he should not have been before the court and that it was a waste of judicial time. Bailey's attorneys are now calling for a commission of inquiry into the operations of the prosecutorial arm of the state, where persons are incarcerated, detained, and prosecuted.
We are calling into question the position of any judicial officer, any police officer, any person that is discharging functions on behalf of the state to say, proffer the charge and let the court decide. Let the magistrate decide, let the judge decide. And that is the position we are challenging.
Of course, we would write formally, making our recommendations, and we can only remain optimistic that given the magnitude of this issue, that it will be treated with the type of seriousness that is warranted.
Meanwhile, Bailey has always protested his innocence. He said he and Ramnaress met in 1992 and started living together. At the time of her death, they were building a house in Diamond on the east bank of Demerara.
Well, my wife, more or less, I was on duty at the Cherry Dragon International Airport, and that was a state visit by the President of Venezuela. On that day, I called home to the normal thing to say hello, but I didn't get through. And subsequently, I was called by someone to inform me that something had happened at home, where my wife was lying in the yard. I called other relatives and informed them to make checks. They checked and they later informed me that she was dead.
Bailey initially gave a statement and assisted with the police investigations and listed the items that were stolen from their home during the alleged robbery and murder. The police continued their investigations and Bailey went back to work. However, in 2015, he was charged for bribery and corruption and dismissed from the police force. Bailey had served in the police force for almost 2 decades. Later that same year, he was contacted by the Criminal Investigations Department, CID, and was told that they have information on who might have been involved in his wife's murder. Then, in November 2015, he was called to the CID headquarters and shown an individual whom he claimed to be a neighbor and who was allegedly involved in the murder. Bailey claimed he was also showed a laptop and diamond ring that investigators had recovered and which belonged to his wife. In a shocking twist of events, 4 days later, Bailey was again called into the CID headquarters, but this time on allegations that he had paid a hitman, Colin Grant, to kill his wife. Grant, who claimed he carried out the murder for money, pleaded guilty to manslaughter on October 12th and will be sentenced on November 2nd, 2021. Meanwhile, Bailey was initially charged for murdering his wife on November 24th, 2016. The Director of Public Prosecution had recommended charges against him.
At that stage, I really didn't understand what he was really saying because it was strange to me. But as it is, it was taken from them, from CID headquarters to Sparna police station, where it was placed in the lab house. And on the 24th, I paid in court, charged for murder.
Bailey was first taken to the Camp Street prison in Georgetown. Shortly after, there was a riot at the Camp Street prison, which also saw the facility being set on fire in March 2017. He was then taken to the Lusignan prison. However, another fire was set to that facility in July 2020, and Bailey was yet again transferred to the Timeri prison on East Bank of Demerara. In all three of these prisons, Bailey said he was confronted with all manner of bad things. He described the horrors of the sleeping areas, bathroom facilities, and sharing spaces with mentally unstable inmates.
So, it was really bad day for me because it's strange. The things you see, the things you do, how you have to adapt yourself to your eating, sleeping, bathing, talking to people. But you might very well speak to a person now and you respond to you, and then you say morning to him, in the very next morning you're in for a slap or a cuff or a cuss out.
He is also alleging of the unprofessional manner prison officers treat prisoners. Bailey is now hopeful of helping other incarcerated persons who were handed the same fate as he was. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Sirmattie Ramnaress.